All right. So the internet is such a very I was the internet can be such a wonderful place, and there are some really just things that make me chuckle. So those of you that are in the modeling class, you saw me shared this. So okay, for a little context, there's been this thing in the Blender community on the internet of people sharing cloth simulations. It kind of became a joke, like, "Hey, look at this cloth simulation," and it's just like cloth draping over a sphere. And then somebody made this thing the other day. Pardon the language. And I thought it was funny. Here, I'll even share my screen here. Share sound. Oh wait, hold on, it's muted. So it's this woman disparaging 3D artists.
What the fuck do 3D artists actually do? Because I don't think.
And then someone turned it into this silly cloth simulation thing with her face. But then just earlier today, I saw somebody made another one that I thought was even more fun, or not, given this is what memeology is all about, and why I think it's genius that some people are really clever and creative. I saw this one then. Let me share this link in here. Also a Blender thing. But now let me full screen it for you now. If you don't want to click the link, screen two. Here's the follow-up.
The artists actually do. What the fuck do 3D artists actually do?
Anyway, I thought it was funny. Just so this is the ultimate paradox of being a creative person is what is good content? like everyone in this class is capable of making those animations, but it's the timing and the environment and the meme culture. I don't know. I'm not that clever. I'm not that quick on my feet. Anyway, that's my show and tell for the day. Okay, here's all we're gonna do today. And Peter has another show and tell too. Put your shows and tells into the chat if you have them. And let's see, Peter, what do we have here? Some awesome spaceship animation.
And I checked his profile or them. I checked their profile and I'm pretty sure all of this was in Blender. I could be wrong. They've showed what their viewport is and it's definitely Blender, but yeah, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's cool. I know. I always wish that there was a behind the scenes.
There might be one for this.
Yeah, cool. I do appreciate this aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of Halo. Oh wait, here this one says process. Yeah, so it seems like a lot of these little or pretty much all of these details are done with noise or generative textures, which is pretty cool. So they're not animating, or sorry, they're not modeling all these details. It's sort of either with geometry nodes or doing using a noise texture, or there's other versions of but using an image texture that kind of can create what do you call it, displacement. Use it as a displacement map to make things higher, lower, and then also adding some little color details and things like that. It's pretty slick. Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, and I'm the thing that I'm assuming that there's like some compositing that's happening that like the kind of rays of light, coming out of here on the top is might be, After Effects or something like that. The particles though, the like smoke that's coming through, there's a chance that that could be done. You could do it in Blender as well. It's like very detailed though. So like, you'd need a lot of, if you remember back to when we were doing the fluid simulations and the smoke stuff, that requires a lot of computing power, especially when you have this much like detail and it's moving so fast too. But it's cool. I like it. I like it. Followed Ri Huang Art. Ri Huang. Cool. Okay. How we doing on your final projects? Give me a 1 to 10 in the chat. Either or your progress or just like how you're feeling. We've got 3 weeks down, 2 to go to turn in your final project. Riley has a 7. 70% done, says John. 8, 3, Mahir.
Sorry, I'll get on it more this week for sure.
Okay. 7, Eduardo. 5 to 7-ish, says Scott.
That's assuming that I actually am doing the correct thing to begin with.
Say more. What do you mean the correct thing?
I started making a bunch of video gamey like attack poses and things like that.
Yeah.
And the only thing I think I need to do now is I'm going to try to add like effects onto it so that they. So yeah.
So they kind of like swoosh and slice. So, one thing of note, John, you reminded me of something. So there's a new version of Blender that just came out right before Thanksgiving, and I haven't. I haven't installed it yet, and I haven't dug too deep into the new features. But I did watch a video of someone talking about some of the new features. And one of the things they showed was, and so like this is a thing that is in Unreal, but it is sort of like it's built for game animations where it's like when you swing a sword, you can have like a little swoosh or like maybe even like a little like flame or something like that goes behind it. Hopefully you can kind of imagine what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was just thinking like add like a fireball and some lightning
Gotcha.
effects.
Okay. But if you were feeling brave and you wanted to investigate this new kind of like swoosh, like secondary action thing, I don't know what it is, but I saw it in a video about the new thing in Blender. So and that's not just directed at you either, John. That's anybody that's interested in it. Some of the new features.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Yeah. So when we're wrapping up here, I think I'll ask you about a couple of things.
Okay. Cool. It's funny, the new versions of Blender, the new Blender releases always seem to happen at the end of the semester. And so I always so for two things, so I was like, oh man, like they just came out with this new feature that will like animate characters for you automatically. And it's like, oh, well, glad you guys spend all that time animating characters. Not that's an exaggeration, but so that's A. And then B, I always get a little bit nervous because it's like people are working on their final projects and they've done it at a certain this version of Blender, and so my advice is if it ain't broke, don't fix it unless there's a specific feature that you're looking for. Maybe just wait till after you finish your final project to do the update, because you just never know. You never know what's gonna break and not work. Okay, well, thanks for the update, John. So this is going to be a little more informal. I'm happy to. I'll maybe go down the list and just of people that put a number in the chat and just ask you to maybe tell me how it's going or if you have any questions. But otherwise, we're just kind of here to chat, answer questions, and talk about your final project. So Riley, you were the first one to go in the chat, and we already kind of got an update from you Monday. But how's it going?
About the same. I've made some progress. not as much as I would have liked. I had I think it was one or two specific questions. I think the first one, it was a clarification for the other project actually. Um, is what one of the requirements said a bomb.com render,
Yeah.
and I wanted to clarify if that was a specific thing or just a good render.
No, no, yeah. That's not a specific thing. Yes, it means a good render.
Okay,
But it's
good.
yeah, no.
Um,
That's something that people said like 20 years ago, so bomb.com is just means like really nice.
it occurred to me halfway through. I was like, wait a
I
uh,
don't even know what bomb, if I go to bomb.com is
it does not give you anything.
okay, good.
Uh,
I was worried it was going to be like something like inappropriate
um,
or
I
okay.
didn't look too far, but
Okay. No, bomb.com is Nolan's stupid way of saying a really nice render.
and this is
Sorry.
part of the thing that I was working on, and I was struggling with. I was trying to get because I have models for my animation that I was making,
Right.
and they had like a separate clothes texture like outside of like the mesh, and I was
Hmm.
trying to get that to work along with the rig that I had, and it would always like bend not the way it was supposed to, or like trail behind. Um,
Yeah, when you did the parenting.
yes, like I would have the like one of them as a jacket, and the jacket would kind of like only slightly follow it, but not entirely, or like the pants would break in half.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, you'll send me your project file and I'll be able to take a closer look. I think thing one, my general advice, because actually you weren't the only person that was having issues with this. Make sure that the scale of everything is set to one. I usually always apply the scale on my meshes so that they're set to one. Thing two, sometimes if you use the existing like the mesh of the body and you like copy out a part of it to make the clothes, um, it can sometimes work really well, work better to, parent to the mesh because it's such a similar mesh.
mhm.
But then on the converse, sometimes you accidentally grab a part that you don't mean to when you delete things. There's like a little bit of the mesh that's still, like on the arm that
Yeah,
you're not even aware of. And so when you like parent something to the arm, then like if you move the arm, then maybe also like the pants are moving. Um, so right,
So like that was the issue I emailed you about, wasn't it?
yes, yep.
Uh,
So
yeah, I
Riley,
noticed that there were
go ahead, John.
I noticed that there were you mentioned that there were like bits of mesh that were left behind. I recall trying to get rid of those back then when I first made the mesh, and they would just not delete.
Yeah, so it's there's like a couple different ways of deleting. There's just like the regular delete, but you may even have to go through and do like delete edges, delete vertices, like do it a couple like so that all the data is deleted from that spot. Riley, so how did you make your clothes?
So most of them, what I did is I took the initial body mesh, and then I duplicated the mesh, then I cut out all the parts that I did not need for like the clothes piece, and then I kind of like adjusted, like I made it larger, and then I made it like go around the body, and I like adjusted it so that it looks more like clothes instead of just like a separate piece of the body.
Okay. Well, yeah, send me your project file and I'll take a closer look because it's a lot of these things. It's like a case by case basis. Like, well, maybe you just like sometimes if the clothes are also like too bulky or like if they're too different from the mesh, then it can have weird effects. So I'll just have to take a closer look and give you some feedback after I look at it.
Okay.
Thanks, Riley. We already heard from John. Sam, Sam's got an 8. So Sam, you're making your game, right, to play around in. How's that going so far?
It's going pretty good. I've got um my character is modeled and rigged. I just need to work on the basic animations for that. And then I've modeled my island and a couple pieces on it and a few of the buildings, but that's where the majority of my work is just I get to make a lot of different buildings.
Yeah, cool. And I think this is an acceptable time if you wanted to like. I understand the pride of modeling everything yourself and doing it all, but also like if you need to like find some free models of buildings, I think that's reasonable as well. I'm actually very excited. There's been I can maybe count on one hand the number of people that have made a game that's playable, so it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see
So am I.
it. Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for the update. Mahir, you gave a 3. You said you just need to put pen to paper and get
yeah,
going.
I just started very recently. It's the issue. But my idea is I was very sick the last few days, so my voice is horrible right now. But my idea was I had a lot of fun with the physics
Yeah.
aspect, like with rigid body and whatnot. So I was thinking of building out like 2 characters just passing a soccer ball where they actually interact with the ball to pass it to each other and whatnot.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So you may have to get creative with
How they interact.
yeah, because you probably won't want to put you won't want to use your whole mesh of the character as the collision because it like that would be really difficult for the computer to like calculate that. So you may have to make like invisible just like cubes, like put an invisible cube on the foot that has rigid body. That's the thing that kicks the ball. And if it bounces off the chest, just put like an invisible cube on the chest that boom, the ball bounces off of. So you kind of you might need to fake the collisions a little bit.
Yeah, I did want to ask you about that. I was trying to parent a cube with like just this boat on the sky mesh, but when I animate it, it kind of just stays where it was. But maybe after class, I could just open up my.
Here, let me. I'll show you super quick. So if you have like an armature that's controlling a character, and like something let's just say Suzanne is parented to this mesh like this. So let's say this is your character, and there's the armature, and then this, if you want this to be your hitbox, there's a let's see, a constraint that you would put on the hitbox. It's called child of. And so if you put the child of constraint on your hitbox, you target the armature and then you select the bone. And so then it'll follow that bone. And you also want to click set inverse so that it stays where it is. So now when the foot moves, boom, that box, even though it's not part of your character, that box is going to follow your foot around. So it's the constraint child of, and then set the armature and pick the bone. So you have to make sure that you're choosing the right bone too, the bone that would be in the foot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I think that might have answered one of my questions, but I'll go over with it.
Yeah. Okay, good. No, we're making it happen. We're solving problems.
The sky mesh doesn't really have bones, does it? It's just kind of
No, but you can choose. So like when you select the rig,
yeah,
like the parts of the rig are bones. So you just have to choose the right part of the rig.
Okay, constraints and child off, and then tack it onto the bone. Okay, to the part of the rig. I see. Got you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are you gonna do office hours at all next week?
I can, if you'd like to. Yeah.
Okay, got you. I'll just email you about that.
Sure.
There. Thank you.
Thanks, Mahir. Eduardo, 7. Any updates for us on your final project?
Hello.
Hello. We can
I
hear you.
got the modeled all done of
Mm-hmm.
my robot. For I kind of got confused from the classes from Monday to I I thought it was 3D animation
Yeah, no
for
worries, no worries.
3D model, but I got
I
my
get
model
confused
done
too.
for 3D or for the robot. I just gotta do the rigging and all that stuff.
Okay, cool. You're on your way.
Yep.
Nice. Thanks, Eduardo. Scott, 5 to 7-ish.
Um, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've been working on uh I had work from After Effects, Advanced After Effects for the project I'm working on. I said I was working on the Cyberpunk City scheme.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of touching that up. Um, I've been kind of trying to prioritize catch up and current work. Um,
Understood.
well, working through some minor malaise, but um, I think I am happy with how things are looking with it. Um, I'm trying to do like I was trying to do like smoke and stuff, well, fog.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tried a few methods. What I kind of liked was I had like you like take a square and then you
The volume scatter.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that look too, for sure.
like how that came out. Um, I gotta like I've been kind of struggling to sit down and work on rigging the model for the detective dude, the,
Mm-hmm.
the dude. And just that was never really my strong suit.
Well, use Rigify. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I just got to sit down and rewatch the lecture, I think.
Cool.
But
Well, keep me
uh,
in the loop. Let me know. Let me know if you run into anything. I'm happy to help you figure it out.
yeah, sounds good.
Thanks, Scott. Catherine, how are you? How's the East Coast?
It's snowing out here. Um, Busy. I've been busy with family. Okay. Have you ever used GIS? You know,
The map stuff?
yeah.
I've dabbled, but
Oh,
I know a couple of other students that have done it too.
okay. I was wanting to do Iceland as as part of it.
Yeah? Have you been?
No, no, I love to. I love to.
I actually.
Um,
Oh no,
Go
sorry. You
ahead.
go. No, 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 no. It's not relevant.
No, go ahead.
So, uh, I just like 4 days ago, I booked a camper van for my family to go to Iceland next summer. There was like a Black Friday deal, and we just did it. I was like, Black Friday, and so we're gonna go camping around Iceland next summer. I'm very excited.
Nice, nice. So with the GIS, does that kind of how bringing it into Blender? Because I found something that talked about it.
Yeah, so um, definitely like look up a tutorial because the how I have used it, or when I tried to use it, um, I wanted to get like a specific area of like the Rocky Mountains. I wanted to do like a mountain thing.
Yeah.
And it was I couldn't get the like scale that I wanted. Like and it came in small chunks. So it was like I wanted to get like this really large area in like general detail, but I could only get it in like small squares. So I'm not sure like how much of Iceland you could get, into one project. And this was years ago that I tried it, so maybe it's easier now. But I remember just like having an issue with the scale of it, that it was like too detailed, and I wanted a little bit more of a kind of higher level view of the Rocky Mountains. And then the other trick was because I was bringing it in different like things, the elevation was different between them because they would kind of average each other out, and then I just gave up because it was too tricky. But there might be better tools for it now. So maybe I'll see if I can find Catherine some more recent information for you.
I would love that.
Okay, let me make a note. Making a note. And what's your idea so to do
What
with your
part?
Iceland map?
Well, I wanted to, there's some glacier areas where they have certain things. I was thinking first of Yellowstone, and I thought, no, I've been there many times. I love it there. But up in Iceland, there's a one that just erupted and took out a town.
Yeah.
So just get that where there's smoke and steam, and that would be the atmosphere of what I was going to do and stuff like that. So
Cool. Yeah, I like it. I always think that's fun. I love the map stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I'll try to find some good info for you for Blender and the GIS.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, team. Any other updates or show and tells or anything? So yeah, Peter, go ahead.
I had a question regarding rendering animations. So for
Yes.
mine, there was, I don't know the right term, and I tried looking it up, but I found it was something unrelated, but it's like flickering. So I don't know if like my sample rate was too low, because I know like when you render, it's rendering like an image at a time. So it's only remembering what's happening in that one image, and it's not thinking, oh, from the previous image, what's the lighting like? What are the shadows like? And so when I put all the images together, there's like this flickering going on. Like it's like there's the noise, but it's like the smoothing of the noise is not accurate.
Um, but it's you're not saying that it's like light or darkness. It's just the noise that is like not the image as a whole, right?
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
what I'm
more
asking?
just like the smoothing of,
It's like kind of shimmering.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
like the details get lost between frames, like cuts and scrapes and stuff on my surface.
So yeah, the number one culprit I would say would be the number of samples, but a close second would be the amount of denoising that's happening. Um, you may experiment with like no denoising, or like a very light denoising and see if that feels better. The other thing I recommend that you do is rather than have your animation, your sample rate set to a time limit, have it set to a number of samples. Because like especially with the animation, as like your camera moves or something, like a scene 20 frames later may get through more samples in 10 seconds than it did in another spot, just because it's more complicated or whatever it's looking at. So I usually recommend finding a number of samples limit versus a time limit if you're doing an animation, kind of for that reason.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
But yeah, but maybe send me what you're seeing, and I'll
Yeah, it's
diagnose it.
the video that I already submitted.
Oh, okay.
You just gotta like zoom in on, maybe like the mask, the head of the character. You can really see it there. I guess it
Yes.
wouldn't matter as much if it was like a soft body, someone with like skin, but like since it's metal, I put like scrapes on it and grooves and
Oh
surface
gosh.
texture that just gets lost between the frames.
I was pulling up your video, Peter, and the music like totally destroyed whatever you were saying. So like I was like turn the volume down. You must have it layered in there a few times. Okay, now I'm noticing. I think I'm noticing. Here, I'll show you guys what Peter submitted. Let's see.
Yeah, towards the end, the character is walking towards the camera, so like the camera's not moving anymore. Yeah, like right there.
Oops, too far.
Yeah, it looks like it's like
Okay,
painted.
now I see what you mean. I'll have to take a closer look at your Blender file. Had you not said anything, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Because you have that kind of like the like low frame rate, kind of like
Stop motion.
Yeah, stop motion of it. But it does. Let's see, because is it also happening like on the knees here too?
Yeah, it's happening on all of the pieces. It's just the most noticeable when it's, I guess, on a curved part of the mesh. But I guess that makes sense with the samples, the amount of samples, and not the amount of samples per second.
But see, so what sinks that theory though is it's the same shot, you know, like it wouldn't have that much of an impact on such similar renders. I'll have to get out the old pen here. Make a note. Peter stumping me again.
I have a habit. I'm sorry.
No. This makes me a better instructor. Peter Helmet. Flicker. Okay. Am I still sharing my screen? No. Okay. Looks good though. Looks cool. Any other?
Could take a second after class to look into this thing with me again, quick. That would be awesome.
Yes. So I'm gonna like wrap things up, and then anybody that has further questions that they don't need the whole class, I'll stick around for that. So, closing thoughts from me. 2 weeks to go. So we'll Zoom 2 weeks from today, which is the last day of the semester. December 19th. Wow, the semester goes kind of late this year. I think we started a week later than we normally do, because I think there's usually 2 full weeks before Labor Day in August, and this year we only had 1 week before Labor Day. Anyway, so we'll Zoom on the 19th, and that's just going to be kind of show and tell your final projects and peace out. You have a lecture this week. It's a shorter one. I talk about render layers. So that means rendering animations as like separate layers. So for example, if you had like a camera move, you could render once with just the background, and then you could do another render that's just like your character or something like that. So it kind of gives you the opportunity to, like, if you know your camera move is going to be the same and the background is going to be the same, you can swap things out, you know, in the foreground. It's kind of a fringe thing, but just if you're a aspiring animator and you're into compositing and maybe you want to do like After Effects stuff or something like that, it kind of allows for that. And then another shorter lecture next week. It's my patented career advice lecture. It's shared between both the modeling and animation class. So if you're in both, you get a 2-for-1 next week. As always, you can email me if you have questions, but just like remember that you got to give me like a day just to like respond, because I might not be able to respond in the moment. So don't wait until like December 18th to email me and expect to get a response right away. So that's why you should like see if you can be done animating by next week, so that you've got plenty of time to render and figure out all the weird little render things that are happening. If you want to like Zoom with me before then too, I'll be as accommodating as my schedule will allow, and I'm happy to meet with you, probably in the evenings, or like sometime during the day if it works out. But just let me know. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for coming, and get cracking on those final projects. And don't forget, there's a little tiny bonus extra credit opportunity if you wanted to do that. Watch a 3D thing and tell me about it. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about that extra credit because I gave you a verbal one, but I didn't write it out. It was like a few weeks ago, and you're like, "Oh, that actually counts as that," but I didn't write it, so I didn't know if you were serious or not.
Well, just all you need to do is just it's like type 3 sentences into D2L, and that way I
Gotcha.
can like
Okay.
mark it as
So
done.
yeah, I was talking about the Transformers movie, but I never wrote it out. So I'll summarize what I said.
Yeah, hopefully you can remember the movie well enough after such a long time.
It's referred to the Zoom recording otherwise.
Yeah.
That's
Mahir.
actually really smart. Thank you for that.
Yeah, hopefully I remember to post it that week too. Mahir, what do you?
Yeah, so I tried the body off technique instead of parenting, and it like is linked together in object mode, but when I go to pose mode and move my foot, it stays in place again.
Here, are you able to share your screen?
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Can you see this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so here I'll just go in object mode quick. And here you can see these are linked together. You can see the little cube slightly. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I go to pose mode or here. And then move my foot and then it stays in place.
Okay, click on your cube.
Oh. I guess I can't in pose mode. Okay.
Oh yeah. And so click on your constraints. Okay. Okay, so rather than child of, you have it set to the target. We need to change the target.
It's the toe though, right?
We need to parent it to the armature.
Okay.
So like hit the X. So like where it says target GEO-TO ...
Okay.
And then hit the eyedropper. And then just click on not the toe, but like the like rig. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And then select whatever, like the foot. Choose the bone. Yeah.
Okay, got you. And that'll
So
be the
like
toe.
left foot or something.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I might as well just try this super quick if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just because my
you can even
idea past this is
yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Huh. I don't know why that moved.
And then click set inverse.
Okay.
Or so undo what you did. So do undo
Okay,
and then do
inverse.
set
Okay.
inverse. Yeah, there you go. And now try moving it.
Okay, cool. Pose mode. Hey, nice.
Cool. And you might need to make it a little bit bigger too, your box. But yeah, so your collision has to be parented like child of, and it's parented to the armature, not the mesh.
Yep, got you. Sounds good. Cool. That makes sense.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cool. And I shall email you if I run into more. Sorry, I need to stop sharing more issues.
Please do.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye. John, you had some questions.
Well, that probably would help because what I wanted to do, there's two things that I wanted to do. One, I wanted to see if there's a way to, with the rig, to add parts to it.
Yes.
Because I'm using the sky merged mesh and it doesn't have a head control to turn the head or tip the head. So
yeah. So when you here, I'll show you real quick. Sharing my screen. So like if you have, so let me just add like a regular armature like this, a human armature. So let's say like this is your armature that you already have, but it's it's missing all the head pieces. Delete bones, dissolve bones. Whatever. It's missing something. When you're in edit mode, you can do Shift A to add a new bone like this. But the trick is it's like disconnected from everything. So if you want it to kind of be connected to the spine, you need to add a bone constraint.
I'm not sure that's what I was asking.
Okay.
It's more like, I guess. So now I've got a rig here, and there's like, get this out of the way. And this head does not have any controls on it.
Right. So you need to add a control. So if you edit it, if you hit Tab to edit that, and go Shift A, you can add a new control for the head. But if you used Rigify, it's in there. It might just be in one of the hidden layers. So then what I was about to tell you was, once you put it into place, you need to parent it to the rest of your rig so it's connected. The other thing you can do is you can extrude. So you can take an existing bone, like one that's on the spine, and extrude that out. And then it's like you go through the process of parenting again. So because your mesh has already been parented to that rig, you would need to redo the parenting of the mesh to the rig because you're adding a new data to it. But I wouldn't be surprised if you went into the layers of your of that rig, if the controls are in there somewhere. So like go get out of edit mode. Go to pose mode, maybe even, and tap N in the with your mouse in the viewport. Hit N. So like look at your things here, rig layers. So open up rig layers. So scroll down, rig layers, and then keep scrolling down. In your head, yeah, the Rigify has head controls. You might, if you go to animation, let me see. Let's see, basic, human. And if I generate rig like this, generate rig. Yeah, so like when let's see, whoops. When I generate a rig with MetaRig or with Rigify, there's this circle at the top is the top of the head. So you maybe just had this one like too far down or something like that, or maybe you accidentally deleted it.
Yeah. There's a circle at the neck part.
Yeah, so that would control the one that's above it. And maybe it could just be hidden inside of the head. What you should maybe do is in object mode, click the rig and make sure that it's visible or viewport display and show in front, because it might just be like hidden inside the head.
Oh, there it is. I think.
Yeah, it might just be actually inside the skull.
Oh, there it is. So that's not a problem.
Okay, good. What else you got?
So I suppose whatever you were doing with
Mahir?
Mahir would probably help with this, but since I wanted to have this model carrying a weapon with the animation and have the weapon going along with the hand here.
Yes. Yep. So you do the exact same thing. So you go to object constraints on your weapon. So stay in object mode. So the one of the blue ones is constraints. Down a little bit. That one.
There,
Add object constraint. This would be child of.
now,
And then use your eyedropper and click on your rig. So make sure it says rig. Yeah. Yep. And then bone, you would type like, click on that and maybe just even type hand. Hand, so that would be, if you're doing, yeah, IK would be IK.R.
so this one.
Mm-hmm. And then click that and then click on set inverse. Ding.
So now it's moving with the animation. And that was a lot easier.
Yeah. Yep. So you can parent it right to one of the parts of the rig.
That's very helpful.
Good. Happy to help. Anything else?
So I guess I'm going to add like fireball and lightning attacks and things like that. And so
Cool.
I figure that I'll just have to have that hidden and then have those things hidden until they're supposed to show up in the animation.
Yeah, that works.
And